guys, Jim here at Blacktie Motors. We are going to take a few minutes and we're going to show the installation of the sleek headlight kit. This is very similar to the classic headlight kit that we make that's flush with the acrylic tops. As far as your installation, your electronics, it's going to go together very similar, but there are some important differences. One thing that is the same between the two is you're going to get a dual relay kit. You open up this bag, you pop it out. It is a dual relay kit. It plugs in to your stock headlight, your stock wiring harness. For your headlights, you're going to remove your existing headlights, obviously. You're going to pop this out, pop the zip tie out. It might look like a wiring mess, but it's really basic when you understand how it goes together. You've got one plug that plugs into your stock headlights. Doesn't matter which side. I put it on the side with the battery because you're going to hook that up. You have a ring terminal you're going to hook up to your battery. This is on the positive on the battery. This is what supplies the power for your headlights. It is only controlled by your factory wiring harness for your high and low beam. You're going to have one short set of wires for whichever headlight is close to this, and one long set of wires for the other side of the car, obviously. The short set of wires, you need to individually ground all of these. You got a little ring terminal. These are ground. You've got your grounds and your powers are in here. One of them will be high beam, one will be low beam. Same thing on this side, high beam and low beam. When you have low beams on, one on each side is going to have power. One of these, one of these. When you hit high beams, all four of them are going to have power, so all of your lights are on when you're running high beams. It's a pretty straightforward thing. Lay it out. I'm sure you can do it. If not, send us an email. We already have one on this car right now, so we're not going to install the wiring harness. Next is your lights. Your projector is your low beam. Your LED light bar is your high beam. It works best this way. Granted, you can switch them. It is a matter of preference. On the back, you've got your two wiring pigtails, your harness that you're going to plug into your harness. The light bar is going to plug straight in. These LEDs have a halo on it, so you've got your same plug that you're going to plug in. You have one additional wire. This wire, ideally, you will splice it in with your parking lights or running lights, whichever you call them where you're from. You're going to hook this up to your power for that. They're both grounded through your harness, so they'll be grounded to your frame. That way, when you turn on your running lights or your parking lights, the halos will be on. Most people are going to want that for pictures. Light-wise, it's not going to make a real big difference. It's cool factor. So hook this wire here up to the power wire on your running light. Not the one for your turn signals, unless you want your halos blinking every time you're going to turn. Might be cool. But hook it up to your parking lights. Other than that, it is very straightforward. We have our wiring harness in here. We're going to go ahead and plug these two, or at least one of them in first. We'll set this on here. We will plug in our low beams to our wiring harness that's on here, if my fat hands can cooperate. So you'll plug those in. I'm only plugging low beam in for the moment. We can plug in high beams. Sure, why not? So now you've got two holes already drilled here. It comes with the screws, washers, hardware for that. We have riv nuts in our car here to make it easy to put light on it. We have riv nuts here that we put in our car, but these are holes you're going to have to drill. You're going to bring it in, you're going to line it up right where the frame starts to round out. It's straight across here and starts to round out just a little bit. You're going to bring it in straight across, and it's going to sit nice right here. This is going to kind of line up back on there, and you're going to push it all the way back pretty much to your frame. You've got one more down on the bottom side here where you'll drill a hole there. You've got bolt, washer, everything. So once you line up the top, drill the holes, you'll drill the holes here. You'll put that in. So now it's anchored at 3 points. Up here at the top, we're going to put one screw in here for the moment. Hold this part in place. We'll give it one to hold it for a minute. Now, right behind here, you've got your factory spots where your headlights used to bolt to with your 10mm bolts. You're going to use these factory holes for the bracket on the back of your headlight buckets. So you've got screws here, or 2 holes for your screws here. That, when it's mounted, that's going to give you your adjustment front to back and side to side. These here are oversized, so with the bracket it moves up and down. This is going to give you your height and your twist adjustment in the back. This bracket in the front, you're going to snug that up, and this is going to give you your adjustment for the front of your headlight bucket. So we will bring it up in here. And it will sit, this front lip of the bucket sits just under the edge here. So you will put your 10mm bolts in the back. You can't see right now. This will line up in here. And that will give you your adjustment, so you can adjust it up to your body line. Down in the front where the bumper's off, this bracket does not line up because the frame on this car is bent. Normally, it will. You will loosen up this bolt that holds the front part of your cowl on, and this bracket will slip down in there behind the washer, and you will snug that up, and that will give you your front height adjustment. That will adjust the front of the buckets. Go ahead and bring it back up here so you can adjust it to your liking. It will sit right about here. We'll let it sit there for a minute, and I'll hit high beams. So now, as you can see, you've got your low beams and your high beams on. The halos are not on because we didn't connect that wire. That wire will connect with the bumper lights, the turn signals, whatever you prefer to call them. Ideally, while you're doing this, you're also going to get the LED turn signals that go along with it to create a nice LED matched pair, but that is obviously up to you. And that is how you install them. You'll put your hood down, you'll make adjustments here, you'll put the hood up and down a couple times, you'll make some adjustments to the bracket on the back of the headlight bucket. So once again, close up in here, you've got these screws here, this bracket. When this bracket is mounted, you've got adjustment up and down and around so that you can match your body line to the body line of the car. You've got room in these holes where you can adjust it. You're going to have your factory bolts in there, and you're going to move it around, and you're just going to adjust it to your car. And that is a quick 5-minute how to install these headlights on your car. So I will see you on the next one, and keep those rotors spinning.